sure you'll be absolutely delighted to hear that this next module is heavily practical and may even run until the end of the academic year. The DC department have worked very hard to afford you this opportunity, and there are a number of small but very important changes to the layout of the workshop and how we approach and conduct ourselves within it. Each lesson will start in the classroom as normal. Practical demonstrations will be viewed before going to the workshop, as COVID restrictions prevent us from doing so. From the classroom, you will walk socially distanced and quietly to your designated workshop. As you approach the workshop, please distance yourselves in a line before being given permission to enter. And on entry, please sanitize your hands first, collect the disposable apron, and then stand in front of the vise on your workbench. You will notice that the workbench is divided into 4 designated workspaces. Please keep all tools and materials inside your own taped area and do not share tools once taken from the tool cabinet. At the end of a lesson, you must place all hand tools inside the plastic containers beneath the window for sanitizing, not back in the tool cabinet. Onto your design brief. In this module, you're tasked to make a personalized desk lamp for your own personal use. Throughout this project, you will learn to use a range of hand tools, techniques, and machinery more advanced to what you learned last year, as well as developing your design skills. It's a fantastic project, and I'm sure you will enjoy every aspect of it. Right, okay, so stage 1 is measuring and marking out the frame for your desk lamp. Now, the first thing you'll need to do is make sure that you have your length of pine, which should be provided for you by John, our technician. You'll also need a steel rule, a tri-square, and a sharp pencil. Now, what we'd like to do is divide your length of pine into 4. We're going to have 2 pieces the same length at 240 millimeters and 2 others at 190 millimeters. So let's begin. So with your sharp pencil, your steel rule, place your steel rule up against the edge of the pine, using your finger to stop. The steel rule does start on 0, which makes it far more efficient and accurate when you are using it. So the first one will make 240, so we'll put a mark on 240, another one on 245, and another one on 250. Okay, so every 5 millimeters, we put a mark. Now with your tri-square, I'd like you to put the brass knuckle up against the edge of the pine, no gaps. If we can see a gap here, that means that we're not going to get the 90-degree line that we're trying to achieve. So slide it across, making sure the brass knuckle is aligned and touching. The first line I'd like you to do is a solid line. The second line is a dashed line, and the dashed line represents where you're going to cut. And the third line is a solid one. So you should have something that looks a little bit like a road. So the center line, the dashed one, is your cutting line, and the 2 solid ones are where you will work towards. So you'll sand those pieces back to the solid lines. This gives us a little bit of room for error, just in case our sawing is a little bit offline. Okay, so from the solid line here, I'd like you to do it again. So we're gonna have another 240. You can do this in any order you wish. So you could do a 190 now if you want, but I'll do a 240, a 245, and a 250. And again, we'll start with a solid line, making sure the brass knuckle is touching, the dashed line, this is the one we're going to cut, and another solid, the one that we're going to work to. Okay, so at the moment, I've got 2 pieces of 240, and then the last 2 are going to be 190, so 190, 195, and 200. And then from that one, we should have 1, 9, and 5. There we go. So again, brass knuckle touching, really important. Solid line first, dashed for your cutting, and then another solid. Although the dashed line is very close to the edge, I would still like you to cut that because we don't want to sand more than 5 millimeters. So do make sure you cut that edge as well. So that's the first part of the project, dividing your length of pine into 4 sections, ready to cut. Good luck.